Welcome to the Project Fae playlist, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a good one. I just ended this chapter like, ugh! No, so I got a good chunk done. Oh my god, that is a big spider. Guitar randomly? I'm so proud of it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is an exciting day because I'm introducing Project Fae. AKA the project I've been using to distract myself from the querying monster that is Seaside. If you're new here, hello, my name is Grayson. I'm currently writing / about to query a YA romance called Seaside, and in the meantime, while I've been doing that, I've been working on a fantasy project called Project Fae. And today is all about that, how the idea started, what's giving me inspiration, some little tidbits, some little aspects, vibes of the story, and then finally talking about like how I feel writing this fantasy project after so long of writing a contemporary. It's a lot, and I'm so excited to finally introduce this project to you now that I have a nice foothold in the world of Project Fae. If you want to learn more about Seaside and I guess Project Fae now, I will put their playlist in the description of this video. But let's jump into it. Let's jump into like how it all began. I want to say around like late November, early December-ish, me and my partner were on a walk in a park nearby our apartment, and you know, like we were just throwing around some ideas, and he actually came up with this seed of an idea for Project Fae, and I was like, hey, that's pretty good. And then we kept talking about it, kept building onto it. Luckily I had a notebook with me, or maybe I just had my phone, but I was able to write down like some of the ideas that we were coming up with, and from then on, like Project Fae has been like a co-created project between my partner and I, and it's really lovely and wonderful. And also like sometimes there's lots of arguments about what should happen in the story, but you know, that's fine, and I'm really enjoying the co-creation process. Since November, December, we've taken a lot of nature walks, a lot of hikes to kind of immerse ourselves in the world building, in the outlining, in the brainstorming of Project Fae, and like it's just been really lovely to walk in nature and have nothing else to do but talk about Project Fae. It's really great, would highly recommend. And so we brainstormed for about 2 months, and that brings us to the day I actually started Project Fae, which was, according to my Instagram story highlight, February 1st, 2023, and now here I am. It's the middle of March. In a month and a half's time, the project has grown into 11,000 words of a first draft and a 7,000 word outline, 18,000 words total. And the reason I'm putting those together is because I write my first drafts in the outline document, so I don't have to deal with like facing a blank page. And also my notes are just like right there. It's really handy. And so yeah, like it's a thing. It's a real story. Like there's a real content to it. My main character like is doing things, making decisions, finding things out. We have like a whole 3 chapters written and even more to come. Lots of world building. I really love the vibes of this story. And speaking of vibes, let's move on to the second part of this video, which is giving you a little teaser, a little tidbit about what is going on in Project Fae. So I'm going to give you 5 tidbits, or the top 5 things I feel like you should know about Project Fae, and they are secret history. Something doesn't add up here. Artisan / inventor based Renaissance, Fae and deal based magic, which I'm quite proud of the system that we've created. Pottery as an art form. Yes, I said pottery. Tell me, how often do you read a book where like the main character does pottery? Not many, right? And 5, a love triangle. And I don't want to give you the connotations of like Twilight love triangle. No, it's very like, I'm going for a healthy love triangle here, and more just like suspense for the reader, not like those like kind of toxic situations. But anyway, that's some things about Project Fae. I've also been writing like tons of snippet content for this book, so like song lyrics and letters and poems and like textbook and like first-hand accounts of like what has happened in the last 40 years, because this book takes place, so like there is an event, a certain event 40 years ago. My main character, Myra, is here, so she is 40 years later, and she's trying to unravel like the mystery, like what happened 40 years ago, and like what's the true story, truth, the truth. And she feels like it's her duty to reveal that truth. Unfortunately, in a society that doesn't really want her to. I'm expecting Project Fae on the first draft to reach between 90 and 100,000 words. I'm gonna say it could be 85,000 depending on how sparse I am with the detail. I have added quite a lot of detail already, and with my chapters being 3,000 words each, we will see about that. But yeah, I feel like the ideal word count would rest around 100,000 words when it's done, but we'll see about that. The genre is definitely fantasy. I'm not sure if it's YA. I mean, it's YA in any kind of sexual content or cursing, but perhaps not in like the content matter. So like, I don't know, it's just a book. It's a book I'm writing. It's probably YA because the main character's 17, but yeah, that's where I'm at on genre. Comps, I do have some comp titles, and it is Margaret Rogerson's A Sorcery of Thorns and An Enchantment of Raging. So it's kind of like if those books had a mesh, put those two books together, you would kind of get the vibes of Project Fae. And oh my god, something I really want to say to tack on to this video is about discovering my fantasy voice. It was such a shock to me after writing Seaside, which is a YA contemporary romance. Like, it's very colloquial and contemporary, and I was so astounded when I began Project Fae that like I had this fantasy voice in me, like a new mode of storytelling, and I was like, what is going on? Like, it's kind of like I wasn't even the same writer, the voice was that different, and it's just shocking. I was expecting the fantasy voice to be difficult for me, but it wasn't, and I think that's because like I've been absorbing fantasy content and books over the past few years, and like I think I've grown as a writer since then, and just like suddenly I had this fantasy voice that I didn't know I had, and that's so wild to me. And in the beginning I couldn't figure out whether to be alarmed or impressed, but now I'm just proud and satisfied at the work I'm able to do on Project Fae. So things that I've learned by starting a book in a new genre is that you really do absorb what you read, and like reading is so valuable for writing. Like just like the conventions that you absorb like are going to come in handy if you try to write that. Number two, you don't just have one voice. In fact, I think every book that you write has a different voice because it's filtered through that particular set of characters that you've created. And like I feel like even if I wrote another YA contemporary, it would still be a completely different voice from Seaside, just like, but the most drastic change is apparent in me switching to a historical fantasy. Is just wild. I would really recommend writing in a new genre if that's something you've never done before, so you can get this little boost of, oh, I can do that? I didn't know I could do that. I think it's really cool and really neat and really special to be able to discover this about my writing and like, I guess I want to say talent, but like my abilities. And maybe it was because like me and my partner focused so much on Myra's character and like really like dug into this book while we were co-creating it, and we are still co-creating it, but just like I really like the process of co-writing a book and co-creating like this story idea has been so valuable to me, when I thought I was gonna have so much resistance to it, because like when I'm writing it feels like I own it, like it's mine, like I don't want to share it. But it's actually super helpful because like if I say a meh idea, my partner will be like, but that's not good, like you could do better. And I'm like, you're right, we could do better. And then we keep talking until one of us has a better idea, and then guess what? The book is better. So like it takes longer to come up with what happens next, but when we do, it's usually a better idea than what either of us had in the first place. And the book is just benefiting so much from that. I think it's going to be kind of a clean first draft. I know it's going to take a lot of editing in the future, but like, you know, it's good. I'm liking what I'm writing, and that's a really good feeling. So something I want to ask you to close this video is, are you writing in multiple genres? Do you have work in progresses in different categories? And how was that for you, switching between them? I want to know if the first time you tried writing sci-fi or horror or fantasy or contemporary, it was so like different or unique, or like, I want to hear your story and your take on having different voices for different genres. So yeah, tell me about all your work in progresses in the comments down below and how you feel about them. You can expect more Project Fae content from me in the future, especially because I'm going to be more private about querying Seaside, just for my own privacy and stuff like that. This is the start. Welcome to the Project Fae playlist, and I have a feeling it's going to be a good one. You can subscribe if you want to follow that journey. It'll probably be unfolding for quite a while, considering it's going to be a beefy first draft. But I thank you guys for coming along with me on the journey. Like this video to support a fellow author tuber, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!